The anime opens up with a scene of Yoshihiko Sagami and Kazuki Minaze in their suit, being chased by a giant red mass called the Burst, a strange matter that destroyed Haruka City. Kate Mizawa joined them, but they get surprised of how the matter is still active after so many shots. A while after, Kazuki's arm got stuck in the Burst, but luckily Yoshihiko was there to save the situation by cutting off the material, and because of this, Kazuki saw a glimpse of Aiko Tachibana's life. After this, in the school backyard, we see Aiko getting hit with a ball while she was sleeping on her wheelchair. After falling, she sees a scar on her elbow that disappears right after. At night, during her visit to the doctor, he tells her that her muscles are recovering and she will be walking normally very soon. And the next day, she was late for school and accidentally fell on a student she couldn't recognize, and who turns out later to be a new transfer student. As they touch each other, they both see the same glimpse that Kazuki saw during the training. After a while, the same boy enters her classroom and introduces himself as Yuuya Kanzaki, and somehow the girl stands unconsciously. Later that day, the boy saw a paper plane club with which Aiko is a member in it, so she invites him to join them. Then she reveals that it was supposed to be an origami club since it was a part of rehabilitation in the hospital. A while after, the nurse in the hospital tells Aiko that she has to visit her home to pick up her stuff since she can stand on her own, but the look on Aiko's face was not really happy. Later in the roof, Aiko tells her friend that she can't believe her family members are all dead, and this is why the reason she can't go home again, but Yuuya heard their conversation and encouraged her to go, and decides to go with her in addition to her friend. As she enters the house, she goes to visit her father's room where she finds an orb that she gifted on her birthday, and he told her back then, few minutes before the accident, that it is a sample of his company's new product. Outside, Yuuya noticed two strange cars stalking the house, so he breaks in and gets the girl out of it, telling her she's the only one who can end the disaster of Burst. Suddenly, agents of the control agency and artificial creatures start chasing them as they flee in the hospital car. On their way, the boy disabled Aiko's vital monitor to prevent the bad guys from tracking her, and then he succeeded entering the old town. He takes her to meet a group of people. One of them explained that her body is fake and they are going to retrieve her real body in exchange of taking her fake one in order to stop the burst. And to prove that her body is not real, Yuuya grabs a knife and stabs her face so it broke instead of making her bleed. After this, he explains that her body is made of a special material called artificial organism. One strange person in the room shows her the way a suit made of organism works when a danger is around. Kuroso, who worked already with her doctors, Yura and Izazu, start explaining how everything started when she was injured in a car accident. And in order to save her life, they decide for the first time to try a new technology, standing on separating her brain from the rest of her body and giving each part a different treatment. They created a copy of her body using artificial organism, which her dad worked on in addition to an artificial brain to keep the real body alive. So now she exists twice. Back to the day when she was born, a copy of her body was created using artificial organism, and her father allowed this operation since his company partnered with Curio Research 2 to create a huge community of duplicates of employees and their families. This explains why she had to go to the company every year on her birthday for a checkup. Kurosi says Yura is the only person who succeeded in making this technology create brain and bodies. Yuuya then points on Ground Zero, known as primary point where the real body is, and also Aiko's mother and brother who are perfectly preserved in the lab. The man again started explaining how the burst was created 2 years ago at Curio Biotech Research Facility. This matter that caused the burst somehow break out of the facility and flowed downriver through the valley. Unfortunately, the government failed in stopping it from advancing until it reached the Sea of Japan. The boy reveals that the surgery which was made in order to separate her brain and body made the artificial organism behave differently, and this has caused the burst. And to convince her more that is the truth, he zoomed on her eye in the mirror until seeing her serial number. The girl find it hard to believe she was the reason behind such a disaster, so she flees, but quickly get caught, and other members of the team explain the matter in better way. Later, Shino plans to send the team in a mission to Curio Biotech Research Facility 2 in the primary point in order to recover something valuable from there, and the key to enter the lab is the girl they caught up earlier. Shino explained how they can reach the primary point where the burst first exploded, and despite the danger, the crew agreed to go out in the mission, and Yuuya managed convincing the girl after showing her a scenario of what happened during the burst. Suddenly, while they are talking about the mission, they got bombarded with a green gas, and the leader discovers Aiko and Yuuya are missing. In fact, they are detained by Nanami Uzani, working for an agency involved with the burst called the CIAC. Nanami denies the fact that Aiko's mother and brother are alive. Meanwhile, other agents are investigating with the boy to know his identity. Soon after, Yuuya's friend break into the CIAC agency and smartly manage taking back the two hostages. Right after this, they meet up in their headquarters to get the group ready for the mission, and Yuuya gives Aiko a device that monitors her brain waves. Suddenly, Kuroso enters the room in a rush, telling them that major matter activity has been observed in the contaminated contaminated area, and it happens for the first time in the last 2 years, which scares people outside. The security at the gate is tightened, and self-defense forces fire tranquilizer missiles on the matter. Later, Aiko falls asleep and she sees a dream of her mother and brother being taken by the red mass. When she opens her eyes, the boy tells her it wasn't a dream. So now the girl is convinced to save her mother and brother. The divers prepare themselves by wearing life suits made by artificial organisms, which protect them and increase their physical powers, and then they carry out their plan to split into 2 groups. However, they ignore the fact that Aiko's body is composed of real and artificial parts that excrete bioactive substance that attract the red mass. But Yuuya gives her a drug that will suppress her bioactivity. The government announces they will be sealing off the dam, and as it was issued an order to evacuate the area, the group moves forward, leaving the gate. Shortly after, they get attacked by a powerful matter, and luckily they have a special weapons that are made to stop the matter whenever they shoot it. After this, they gather in a mansion where they decide to split after getting out of the area K1. The first group distract the matter while the others move forward to the next area, and they will be taking turns. Then the boy says that he makes some cartridges that are filled with medication, preventing the matter's activity, and Aiko remembers that in the hospital she used to get those injections too. In the city, the CIAC suggests destroying the matter because it will flow the Sea of Japan. In Area 1, the divers continue sticking to the plan, and they split, but they notice the matter developed a certain resistance to both physical and chemical attacks. The second group finds a tunnel plugged with matter on their way, so they get obliged to go with the first group and struggle to arrive to Area 2. The gallery in Shadow at K1 is where the team splits again, and they planned well to electrify the matter with a massive electrical charge. Back to the CIAC, they notice the shutter at K1 was activated. The electrical shock has paralyzed the matter permanently, so the team can circulate freely for a while. They first enter the last supply point in their journey. Minaze is on guard duty for this day, and Aiko asks to accompany him in order to get a good look at the area. Meanwhile, Kurose meets Nambara, one of the CIAC directors. He asks to know the reason that brought her to the town and what the CIAC is planning to do, but she gives only a few details. During the guard duty, the other divers get to know more about Aiko's life and family. Later at night, the girl finds the spherical item which her father gave to her in her birthday, but she accidentally drops it down. The alarm alerts the team that unknown living organism is detected in North Block storage area. A few seconds after, they catch a small creature. It is a simple organism that Holos Habilis gave to few employees. Aiko reveals that her father was working in the same company and he offered her a spherical item that got transformed to this little creature. The small creature flees to the outside without any sort of protection, and the girl takes one of the contamination suits and follows it. The crew discovered her disappearance, and they quickly rush out to find her, bring her and the creature back to the mansion. After making sure she is okay, the girl decides to name her new friend Gimme. The CIC agents enter the Area 1 on their turn while the diverse team is moving forward to the Area 2. Hate didn't take attacking the matter seriously, and she almost died and got other crew members in danger. In addition to this, she caused high damages to their Beetle car, which means delaying the arrival to their destination, Area 2. On the other side, Yuuya tells Aiko about the dream contact. It is when her brain links with her other plan, with her other brain located at primary point, and the information starts getting transmitted like dreams. The boy equips her with a helmet system that allows him to see whatever comes to her mind. In town, Nambara and Izazu discuss the necessity of rescuing Aiko since she represents their greatest achievement in the technical field, and studying her body will help curing Izazu's daughter. The girls successfully get the access to her memories, and the boy watches everything, but it seems like the memories she saw does not belong to her, but maybe to the other body. Back to the diverse team. They succeed repairing the broken car, and now they are moving forward to K2, and they must arrive there before sunrise or the permanent paralyze of the matter will go away. However, on their way to Area 3, they encounter a more developed matter that is able to resist their weapons. Surprisingly, Aiko starts predicting the matter's moves, and she directs the team's fire. Meanwhile, Kazuki lost his arm in a furious fight with a red mass, all in order to get sample that Kanzaki uses to modify their weapons and make them more effective. The game starts getting more interesting, and the girl is one step far from fighting her mother. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time with another part. Until then, take care.